We didn't catch that. Can we hear it again? Okay, one more time. That's better.
Eruption! Eruption! Yes!
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 difficult languages to learn.
Sisan! What was that? It means come in. It's taking forever to load the new operating system on my computer. I disinfected the kitchen and the bathroom, and now I thought I'd learn Finnish.
For this list, we've rummaged through the world's languages and have selected those we deem the hardest to master. We've excluded English, because if you're watching this, you've probably got a handle on it. But then there's the comments section. So... Number 10, Hungarian.
Send me someone who can speak Hungarian.
Can you imagine what pop culture would be without all our favorite famous Hungarians? Probably exactly the same.
Phrase 4. Are you familiar with Houdini? Ismered Houdinit?
Houdini aside, there's a pretty large disconnect between the English and Hungarian-speaking worlds, most likely because Hungarian is just so darn difficult to learn.
He's speaking Hungarian. I don't speak Hungarian. Okay, I know.
What do you know?
Experts! Experts!
It has some of the strangest grammar rules in the world, which includes 14 vowels and 18 language cases, or up to 35 if you consider the cases that apply to prepositions. This is massive compared to English, which has 0 language cases.
Hello. Egan. You guys want the junior suite or the high roller suite?
Hungarian is also expressive, relying heavily on idioms. Perhaps hardest to grasp, Hungarian sentence structure is completely different to most languages, with suffixes indicating tense and not word order.
Sleep is essential for every healthy Hungarian girl. Az alvás nélkülözhetetlen minden egészséges magyar lánynak.
Number 9, Khoisan. This language, at least to English-speaking ears, is a bit of an unusual one.
The Constitution doesn't recognize us. There's no land for us. Everybody's talking land. Everybody's talking recognition.
Referring to a collection of indigenous languages that consist of clicking patterns of consonants and phonemes. Khoisan is only a verbal language, not a written one. Khoisan languages have the most consonants in the world, and as such, rely heavily on manipulation of sound. With most of these languages lacking a written record, you have to learn them by immersing yourself in the incredibly small populations that speak it.
Soon they could be gone entirely. I'm arriving not a moment too soon.
Number 8, Korean.
저러다가 굶어 죽지.
Does it look like I speak Korean?
The trouble most learners have with Korean is with its relatability. It is a language isolate, meaning that it lacks any common ancestors or genealogical links with other languages. In short, the Korean language is only native to South and North Korea, which, when totaled, make up a relatively small portion of the planet. Couple the rarity of the language with a wholly self-contained, unique alphabet system, and you have a pretty steep learning curve.
전공은 당신이고 5대 수학 학자.
Things only get trickier as Korean opposes classic language structure, confusing learners. Sentence structure is equally troubling. Action sentences place the subject first, then the object, and finally the verb or action.
당신 생각처럼.
Number 7, Icelandic.
I'm sorry, I don't speak Icelandic.
As a language, Icelandic is rife with conundrums. On the one hand, the language is out of sync with modern times in that it steadfastly refuses to encompass loan words or words from other languages to explain new terms, items, or concepts.
What's going on? Where is everybody? Elkos! Come on, Elkos! Elkos, yo! Elkos! Yes! What does that mean? Erection! Erection! Erection!
Instead, these new concepts are bestowed with a brand new word.
The volcano known as...
Otherwise, however, Icelandic remains mostly unchanged since its conception centuries ago, and still abides by its unique sentence and letter structures established way back when. Good luck finding a tutor though, as less than 400,000 people speak Icelandic today. Number 6, Sanskrit.
Nick, you know what that says? No, I don't read Sanskrit. Make reasonable choices. That's an odd thing to get tattooed on your neck.
While most have probably heard of this language, it's still entirely possible to not know what it is.
Gentle. This is hundreds of years old.
Is that some kind of writing?
Yeah, it's Sanskrit.
Sanskrit is the primary sacred language of Hinduism and is a philosophical language of Buddhism, Sikhism, and Jainism. It's also one of the 22 scheduled languages of India, which means it's represented in the Indian Constitution. Those who try to learn this classical language struggle because of its incredibly unique grammar rules.
It gives them brilliant linguistic training. They use all parts of their mouth. And the Sanskrit scriptures are inspiring. They're full of very inspiring philosophical concepts. And this is why we teach it.
For example, Sanskrit includes 3 gender nouns, masculine, feminine, and neuter, and has 8 cases. On top of that, Sanskrit requires a very high inflection. Bottom line, this one's hard.
Even the word video is based on the Sanskrit word Veda, which means to see or reveal.
Number 5, Finnish.
Grapes. Raipalit.
Here's why Finnish is so hard. The trouble lies in translation. Finnish grammar rules are, well, frankly crazy to English speakers, in both structure and pronunciation.
Yine. He's really funny, I can't even translate that.
It takes a lot to translate from English, and even when that's done, the end product probably won't work.
Where is he now?
In the hotel gardens. Working on his Finnish, best I can tell.
Finnish.
Rosetta Stone tapes.
That's because the language is so colloquial and expressive that native language speakers don't always rely on the rules. They do what they want, and it makes sense. To them at least. Number 4, Japanese.
You should learn Japanese. Very easy.
No kidding, I heard it was kind of hard.
This is a language that requires immense preparation and intense studying before you can accomplish the slightest success. To be able to write Japanese somewhat adequately, learners must first master thousands of characters. Most of those characters have multiple pronunciations and meanings, which are then made more difficult when considering the rules of how those characters can be combined. The Japanese writing system has several components: hiragana, katakana, and kanji, and rules change depending on the use of scripts. Once you've figured all this out, you can finally put yourself through the hardship of speaking Japanese. There are no shortcuts with this one.
Right side and with intensity. Okay?
Is that everything? I mean, it seemed like you said quite a bit more than that.
Number 3, Arabic.
And the combinations of some letters with others are very hard. There are names in Arabic or words in Arabic which are very hard to write.
Most English speakers would describe Arabic as unlike anything they've ever seen before. Most words vary between 4 different forms, depending on placement. Short vowels are not part of the Arabic alphabet. Words derive from base roots and to accommodate grammar and structure. There are many different dialects that vary so much that often 2 forms of Arabic are completely foreign to one another. Let's also remember that Arabic has several sounds that aren't found in English, so luck and hard work are definitely required to teach your vocal cords to imitate them.
Inta mabedik with amrik. When you wish and with your permission, of course.
Where did you learn to speak Arabic, Magnus?
Number 2, Russian. As a comedy accent, Russian seems fairly easy to mimic.
Let go, turn away and slam door!
But to actually learn and respect the language, that's a whole new ballgame. The written language uses the Cyrillic alphabet, meaning it's far different from the alphabet English speakers know. Like Arabic, Russian is comprised of sounds that are very different than those known to English speakers, and mastering them takes years of practice.
Russian, I don't speak Russian. Get it translated.
Additionally, Russia's history of cool to strained relations with the Western world means finding help can be harder than you might think. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Hoe heet het in Nederlands? Dat bedoel je?
Do you know your colors in Welsh?
Cork is red. Glass is blue.
Has a Greek translation.
Well, it's called αυτή τη φορά και εκείνη τη φορά. But I'm not sure it's the correct one.
Here you go, Bart. It's a long shot, but that's all I can do without learning ancient Hebrew. Bart, I am not gonna learn ancient Hebrew.
Number 1, Chinese. It would be unfair to ignore the wide reach that Chinese, as a general language, has had on many of the world's difficult languages. With that in mind, we're including Mandarin and Cantonese under this Chinese umbrella. Both are tonal languages, with Mandarin using 4 tones and 1 neutral tone, and Cantonese using 6 or more.
Hi. 干什么你？跟同伴们打个招呼。
Chinese languages are also chock full of homophones, idioms, and proverbs. So even knowing the language may not mean you understand it. The Chinese character system is pretty much endless, meaning that learning is an ongoing process. Flat out, there is no end in sight when learning Chinese. So press on or give up.
你的剑莫非只为仇恨而练？
不错，我的剑10年来不敢有一刻倦怠。
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.